welcome back, you guys. This is the Art of Confidence event, how to build unstoppable confidence and skyrocket your revenue. My name is Nicole Safely. I'm the founder of I Am Fierce, and I am here today with Katy Wood, and she is going to deliver the goods today. You guys, I'm so excited about this. Katy's going to talk to us about all the pieces that it takes to kind of get this business thing going, right? Everybody focuses on coaching you and you've got things in line and you're going to scale. What about just getting started? So I am super excited to introduce Katy. She is a business growth mentor, a certified course and launch strategist, and the founder of the Shine Method, which is a unique framework to attract, nurture, and convert clients online. She works alongside her heart-centered and faith-filled female entrepreneurs to take them from that startup phase to creating wildly successful and profitable businesses by teaching them the entire system that they need to scale in a way that's authentic and aligned to their Christian values and beliefs. Thank you so much, Katy, for being here with us. I'm excited to dive into this, and I'm curious kind of how you got into this space initially. Just tell me a little bit about your background and how you came to serve female and faith-based entrepreneurs.
Well, first of all, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me, Nicole. So I got started about 4 years ago. I was made redundant from my corporate job, and change was like at that time, and it was really scary, and I was thrown into, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? And I decided to become a virtual assistant working alongside coaches, and that was because I had a social care background, so I knew that I had this passion for helping people, and I wondered how I could translate that into the entrepreneurial world. So I started as a virtual assistant working with coaches, and I supported them on their launches, doing their Facebook challenges, growing their audience, managing their social media. And I knew at one point that I had reached my income limit. I'd reached the amount of clients I could serve at any one time, and I knew that I was meant for something more, you know. So it was at that point I went into consultancy and supported coaches, female coaches, to launch their offers with Facebook challenges. And again, more recently, I kind of got into there's got to be something more. There's more, you know, people, not everybody's ready to launch. Not everybody is that far along in their business. And I really have a passion for helping those women who are at the beginning stages of their business, who a lot of business mentors and coaches kind of toss to one side. And actually, they're the people that I know I can support and I know need the most help. So now I provide the entire system for startups to scale to successful and profitable. So really exciting.
I love it. I would be one to raise my hand. I'm like thinking of all of the things that I don't have in place just yet. And yeah, those systems, you know, I find that a lot of entrepreneurs start off, especially online, you know, you've got this vision of you want to do something, but they jump so quickly into this tactic or that tactic that somebody's selling online versus starting with the plan. Where do we need to go? What are those pieces? And maybe don't even know what the pieces are. You know, one thing you said there, though, that I want to pull out that I think is so important. You said you were made redundant in corporate America. Do you know I've had about 6 calls this week alone from former colleagues or people that have been on my teams saying that they've been laid off. So I just want to tell you guys, if you haven't started your own business, you owe it to yourself to dive in and even work with somebody like Katy to identify just what could you do. You don't even have to have an idea. Everybody has valuable skills, knowledge, things that we can turn into very viable businesses. And even if it's just a plan B, because you're going to need a plan B. I'm so tired of getting these phone calls, and I don't know where that word came from. Katy, you cannot be redundant. There's not another one of you, but somebody decided in HR that they felt that your number was redundant, and that's absolutely ridiculous. We all have such value to bring. So I'll get off my soapbox there, but if you haven't started a business, you really need to think about it because there's no certainty. And I mean, your own business is certainly uncertain too, but it used to be you had some security in corporate America or corporate, whatever country you're in, right? It's not true anymore. And
It
so,
isn't.
yeah, we owe it to ourselves, especially as women, to step into our genius. So talk to me a little bit, Katy, when somebody comes to you, a new business owner, what are those key steps, and, how do you help to pull that together for them to get started?
There really is an ecosystem, this ecosystem to building a profitable business. And, so many people, they will get sucked into marketers saying, you can make 10K in 3 months, and they don't actually give them the pieces that they need in place in order for that to be accelerated and actually come to fruition. And that's why a lot of people go and they put an offer out there and nothing happens. It's why they're not making any money. It's why their audience is stalled. They can't get any traction on their social media accounts. It's because some things are missing. So I like to liken it to a jigsaw puzzle. And each of these parts of the ecosystem are like a jigsaw piece. And without that entire picture, without those pieces in place, you haven't got that picture. And, it looks like being clear on who you serve and how you serve them. And a lot of people can be scared to niche down because they want to support everyone, but they don't want to miss out on any business. And actually, in not getting that right, you don't have to go super, super specific, but in the online space is very, very noisy. And if you want to be able to cut through all of that noise and you want your messaging to speak to your perfect fit client, you've first got to define who that is and what they want to hear. So you can then deliver that message, and you kind of, you're like a flashing beacon out in the social media, right?
Yeah.
So that is the first and foremost, knowing who you serve and how you serve them. But it's also about being able to articulate and understand your unique gold, the gold that lies within you. What makes you different? Why you? Don't be afraid to be polarizing. Your people are waiting for you to show up and as your authentic self and say what they're thinking, so it will repel people, but it will also attract the right people. So that's a part of it as well. And then of course,
yeah, I was going to say that's one area that I find getting stuck in is I see what other people are doing and I go do that. And I found I have so much more success when I just step into my own voice. And it could be the same type of service, but the way that I'm saying it, I'm presenting it, or you are, it's going to be different. And so how important it is to be in that authenticity and show up as yourself and attract the people who it resonates with.
Exactly. And it's not always easy because we can often be very humble. We may have been told, don't brag, don't boast. And actually, it's not about bragging and boasting. It's about identifying what sets you apart. What unique gifts do you have? What unique style do you have? And not being afraid to shout it from the rooftops, because that is why people will choose you above somebody else, because of what you stand for and who you are. And they're waiting for you to show up in that authenticity,
Yeah. So figuring out your genius, who you're going to serve, niching down and knowing that you can change niches. But if you're not speaking to somebody directly, it just goes into the ether. They don't feel spoken to. It is that time, when you've gotten a good offer and you're like, oh my gosh, how did they know that was what's going on with me? Oh, you mean I'm not the only one who has no time in the day, whatever it is. Yeah. So after that, we get our niche, we understand our genius. Then what?
Then you need to be able to craft this offer that actually, in response to you knowing who you serve, what their problems are, what they're currently struggling with, what environment, what are they finding themselves in, what are they experiencing currently, and also what do they desire? What is their end goal? What are they working towards? What will they pay for to get them to a particular solution? And this is where crafting an irresistible offer comes in, because when you know that about the people, you're able to present your offer and craft it in such a way that it's a complete no-brainer. It's exactly what they want. It's exactly what they're going to pay for. But it's also then in your messaging and your content, because you've got to be able to describe that offer and describe the work that you do so that it shows your ideal clients that you understand exactly what they're going through, where they are and what they want, and knowing them better than they know themselves. And this, so it's not just about creating the offer, it's about being able to talk about and provide the offer in such a way that they think, oh my God, it's made for me,
Yeah. There's no way I
and
can
really,
say no.
exactly.
Mhm.
But on that note, I want to go against the grain a little bit here. And a lot of marketers will tell you to really focus on pain points and really, talk about, do you feel like this? Do you feel like this? Do you feel like this in your promotional posts and your sales pages? And actually, I prefer to go with the solution focused, the outcome focused.
Yeah.
Talk to their end goal, talk to their desire, because that empowers them and it attracts people who are looking for a solution, not those who have been victims in their pain. So
Ooh.
I would switch your marketing around about that. I mean, there's so
Yeah.
much I could talk about this.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. I think that, psychologically people respond to things when it's the negative. I mean, and I think that's where that whole tactic comes from. But yeah, when I am in a positive business scenario, right, I should be outcome focused, and hopefully I'm not in this horrible place anyway, right? We all experience challenges, but it is more, and I think too, that can be the difference between when you're talking to an individual versus B2B, right? When you're talking to someone who's in industry, there is a problem to solve. You need to show them the solution and the positive solution, not focus so much on their emotion to drive those decisions.
Exactly. I mean, emotion is a big driver in a purchase decision. As you probably know, there's different triggers for that bring people to purchase, and emotion is one of them. But it doesn't have to be negative emotion. It
Yeah.
can be showing them that actually look what is possible for you, and actually I've got this vehicle to help you get to your goal. And yes, you do have to touch upon pains and problems, because you need to be able to describe or provide your offer as that solution. So you've got to be able
Mhm.
to touch upon it, but don't poke it,
Yeah, I love that you've recognized that. I think that's powerful for sure. So we get an offer, we understand what they're trying to create, those outcomes that they want to have. And then where do I go? I've got this. How do I let people know about it? What are the tactics? And you don't have to go in detail with any, but like, where do you guide your clients to begin promotion and sales and marketing?
So first, you need to attract your audience. So, this is where you understand your ideal client. You've got this offer that meets their need, and now you want to begin to attract those people who are perfect fit for that offer, who are perfect fit for you. So, do lead generation a lot. Grow your audience continuously, regardless of whether you're in the process of going to be selling something. This needs to be a daily action. So, what can you do today that creates a new connection? What can you do today that builds a new relationship, and do that daily? But then you want to think about all the different ways that you can sell. So I like to think of them as 5 different strategies, if you like, for sales. So number 1 is launching with multi-day events. So it could be a Facebook Live series over 3 days. It could be a 4 or a 5-day challenge. These are really good. They do require a bit of planning, though, so it's not something that you won't be able to do next week, because you will be tired if you try and do it all. But plan these in advance. Do these kind of quarterly in advance for your planning. And this is great for attracting, nurturing, and converting clients for the first time, because it's a concentrated period. You give them quick wins. They get to experience your energy. They know what it's like to work with you. And it's great for building your audience and then turning them into clients quickly. Then you've got 60-minute masterclasses. So this is where you can launch and sell your offer with a masterclass in a training. These are really, really good for those people who are already in your audience, who already trust you, who already know that you're an expert. So that warm and ready to buy audience. Then you've got a couple of evergreen ways as well. So evergreen is where you can continually sell something. It's
Mhm.
not necessarily live. So you can do that through a funnel, which is automated. You bring someone in on a freebie, you nurture them with your email sequence, and then you sell them into your pre-recorded course, into booking a sales call with you. And that's all done via email through a funnel. But then, of course, you don't have to do that. You can just sell through your content. You can just put marketing materials. You could do a sales campaign, making sure as well, though, that you understand buyer psychology if that's what you're going to be doing. So if you're going to be
Um,
selling through your content, understand that there are 5 different things that make people purchase. So when you are selling through your content, you want your content to touch upon each of these 5 things because you're more likely to get more sales. That's aspirational, emotion, authority, urgency, and the 5th one, which I cannot remember, logic.
okay.
So,
Kind
so
of playing in
touch
all
upon
of the different areas of the brain and the heart and the mind. And yeah,
exactly. And people are driven by different factors, motivating factors to purchase. So when you think about creating one piece of content that meets each of those buying styles and running them in a sales campaign in your emails or on your social media, you're much more likely to get higher conversions because you've not just spoken to one type of buyer.
and usually we speak the way that we are, whatever our disposition is, right? We're going
Yeah.
to provide the way that we do, and we're ostracizing or just losing, other potential connections and sales. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah. And then you've got sales calls, which is the 5th one. Bit more time consuming, but better for high ticket and one-to-one.
Yeah. Do you, is that something that you do, or do you outsource the sales call piece when you're working with clients? I find,
I don't want to outsource that because my one-to-one clients, they buy into me, and it's because of who I am and the high touch level that I provide to my one-to-one clients. With my courses and things like that, you can do that more passively. It doesn't
yeah,
necessarily require a sales call, but a sales call as well isn't just for the buyer or your potential client, it's also for you. So you can then weave out those people that aren't necessarily a good fit. You don't have to work with just anybody. You get to choose. You're the boss, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. Go back to I was what redundant. Nobody can
Yes.
fire you from your own business. You are the boss. You get to choose who
You
you
have-
work with, when you work. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
more work, which is fine. Like, I'm a hard worker. I would rather work hard for myself than
Mhm.
for somebody else. And yeah, being able to choose those clients that you're going to be excited to get up to work with every day, and really jam out in what they're doing and your skills. It's awesome. All
Yeah.
right. So we get into the sales. Do you go further? I feel like there's support and, continuous nurturing of your clients. Tell me a little bit
Absolutely.
about what comes next.
I mean, you do need to be continually nurturing your people. So you can do this with your free resources, with additional value, a great way to, as well, thinking about it, you're not going to convert 100% of your audience in that sales campaign in that time that you are doing your selling. But you don't want to lose those people who you've made connections with because they can turn into clients in the future. So you want to be making sure that your content game is on point, that you're giving great resources, things that they need, and that you're continuing to have conversations with people as well. So building relationships and nurturing those relationships. Conversions come from conversations. And also, with regards to that whole selling piece, if you've had a conversation with somebody, track those leads, track your leads, ladies. This is a big thing,
Mm,
keep a track of who you're having a conversation with, because you'll know exactly who you can pinpoint with your next offer that comes up, or who you can nurture further in the DMs, or invite onto a sales call, or provide another free resource. Essentially, we want to love bomb the people in our space. We want to give them what they need. And service is a really, really important value of
mm,
mine. And I believe wholeheartedly that we should come from a place of service for our audience, regardless of whether they pay us or not.
mm.
Obviously there's a deeper level of input that we give people who pay us, but we shouldn't just shut those out that can't afford, or that aren't in the right position, because sowing into them, we will reap the rewards. The day you sow the seed isn't the day you eat the fruit, right?
Yes, absolutely. And referrals, it goes so much deeper, and some of it, we're supposed to do the work. We may, as long as we're doing the work, the reaping may come from a totally different place, right?
Yes.
But yes, giving and connecting and listening. I think when you talk about having those sales calls, it's really more of a vision call. Like if you dive into, Katy, where are you going? Like you asked me earlier, what's your genius? How often do people actually get asked that? So being curious about people, and though that can actually lead to further service that you provide. If you listen to your clients, you're going to start with a product, right? But it may not be the thing that you end up as your key offering as you learn from your people.
Absolutely. It's really important as well as an entrepreneur to embrace change, to go with the flow, to not be so rigid in your plans that actually you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. Active listening all the time. And also, that's another part of creating a successful and profitable business, is being able to listen and make a note of what people are telling you for your own benefit and your evolution of your offers and your services, but also for a language matrix, for a kind of message, keeping a language database that you can then use in your future content, your sales pages, that comes straight from the horse's mouth. And that is so powerful when marketing and selling your offers and your services.
100%. And we try to recreate the wheel. If we literally will mirror back the thing that the person said, they're gonna be like, wow, how did she know? And it's like, I don't know, you just told me. And I mean, but we want to hear in our own words, what it is. So I think, sometimes, I'll listen and then I'll craft something. Keep it simple. Listen and regurgitate and serve that.
Exactly. And it's so important that we are able to present the solution and the offer and the opportunity in a way that resonates with our ideal clients. So often we're experts, we've got all of the knowledge, we understand the dots being connected. And especially if our ideal clients are who we used to be, we've evolved, we're disconnected from that version of ourselves now, and actually we can lose the power that the language has, because we put our jargon on it, and actually we need to use the language of our ideal clients for it to be effective, for sure.
Yeah, it's not quite as difficult as we make it sometimes. Oh my gosh, I love this. I'm curious. So we've gone through this. These are, the steps, and thank you, because this is gold in and of itself. Like, what do I need to have in place? So I've got confidence about where do I need to start. Obviously, it helps to work with somebody to guide you through that process. But when I think about then scaling, so at what point do you begin the scaling conversation? And I'll tell you, I notice that people try to start scaling, in my opinion, too soon often. So where do you guide? How do I know when it's time to scale my business? And
I think when you have got some processes nailed down, when you know that your organic marketing is working for you, when you are making consistent income every month, there's no particular kind of figure, I don't think. But if you're making profits, if you're paying yourself, if you know that you've got that consistent money and you're not having to strive for it, you're not testing and tweaking all the time, that's the perfect time to think, okay, what offer can I now add on to my product suite? What can I outsource? What can I explore? Is it time for Facebook ads or Google ads or things like that? Each to their own, but I like to advise that you nail your organic marketing before going into ads, so that it's not an expensive mistake. Yes. Test and tweak with organic. And when you've got your process nailed, when you've done some launches consistently and you've got consistent results, when you know that you can sign clients like that because you've perfected your offer, that's the time to then think about branching out, getting a team together, working with a mentor, investing in ads, developing a broader product suite that meets more needs, higher ticket or even lower ticket, but expanding. So not moving out of just offering one signature program. Once you've nailed it,
Yeah, you and I are tracking in the space that I come out of technology. We always talk about test it, nail it, scale it, right?
Yeah.
Figure
love
it out
that.
first. Often we pour money and time into something that we don't know anybody actually wants. And so prove that they want it first, nail the delivery, nail the product, everything around it. And then you'll know where to, just give it juice and scale. And I think being patient in that process, right, is key. Being okay in the discovery, and figuring out what it is before you try and just go full bore with something.
And also don't give up. So if something's not worked, if your launch has failed, if your offer hasn't done well, that's not a sign to give up. It's not a sign that it's rubbish. It's a sign that actually something just needs to be slightly tweaked and tried again. It's really important to not give up at the first, second, or third, or maybe even fourth or fifth hurdle. Keep going, because what you've got in your heart to deliver, to provide, to offer to the world, it's there for a reason. Don't just persevere would be my advice. Keep trying,
Yeah, it's never over until you quit.
Right,
Yeah, it's never over till you quit. I love this, Katy, and I could probably talk to you all day long, and maybe we will need to do that, because I'm hearing some things. I'm like, I need some help in that area. But I know you have a couple of programs that you wanted to open up to this group, and I thank you for that. You want to tell us a little bit?
I do. So for those of you, these really are for those who want to have support with marketing and things like that, want to get themselves out there, but you're not quite sure how. There's 2 different resources that you can have from me. One is an audience growth bundle that has 21 activities that will help you to grow your audience. They are step-by-step things, so actual things that you can be doing on the daily to grow your audience. And also there is a resource that is a spreadsheet filled with Facebook groups that allow you to promote and market your business.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, I want that one. That's huge.
There's access to over 2 million potential new clients on there. It's all at the click of a mouse, by day of the week. Perfect.
Oh, all right. Wow. I'm going to have a lot of work to do after the summit's over. Thank you, Katy. I really appreciate you being here with us. You guys, Katy's going to join us next week for our Ask Me Anything session. So you'll be able to come in and pick her brain a little bit more if you so desire. I would. It's amazing. And if you haven't caught any of the other episodes that we've done, there are 21 speakers, actually 22. In this series, and you can go to theartofconfidenceevent.com, make sure you sign up, and you can even get the recordings if you've missed some. So be sure to do that. The summit is free. The recordings are $47, and you'll get lifetime access to all of them. And I tell you, this is gold. This is amazing content. All of these coaches, Katy included, thank you so much for delivering the goods. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me.